Hi, welcome to Flavor of Riverside. My name's Chef Robert Sevely. It's great to have you guys back. Today, back by popular demand, we're going to be making soups. First thing that you need to know about soups is that there's 6 different types of soups. First one is a cream soup. Then there's pureed soups, there's clear broth soups, there's bis, there's consommes, and there's chowders. And so along with that, we're just gonna kind of get started. Other thing, like when it comes to making soups and it comes to the very basic thing that you can make is gonna be stocks. I really recommend everybody making stocks at home. If you're gonna do store-bought stocks though, there are some key points that you wanna look for. You wanna go as low sodium as you possibly can. It's a better stock or a better broth. The difference between stock and broth is basically a bunch of bones put into a pot with water, cooked, and then they strain it off, and that's a broth. A stock is bones, the water, and then a mirepoix, which is carrot, celery, and onion. And then a lot of times there's wine mixed in, and there's herbs, and so it has a lot more flavor. There's lots of different recipes that you guys can look at online and stuff out there for making stocks. It does get a little bit more time consuming, but in my opinion, what you should do is be saving all your vegetable scraps. If you go and get a chicken at the grocery store and you pick all the meat off of it, save those bones. Everybody should have saved their turkey carcass and just keep it in the freezer, and then you could like break it up and make a stock out of it. You can get veal bones, you can get beef bones, you can get pork bones. You can do a mixture of bones if you want to. But if you always are making stocks and then you're taking them and putting them into Ziploc bags and freezing them, when it comes time to make a soup or a sauce or something like that, you can pull those out of the freezer and you can utilize them. That's how I like to do it. Now, if you're going to store-bought stocks, the brands that you can use is Kitchen Basics, which I have right here, and we're also going to use a vegetarian one as well, a vegetable stock. And then Pacific is another brand that I use as well. I like all these. They're all very low sodium. You can buy them at just about any supermarket here in town, and they work out really well. They have good flavor. They have good color. They're going to make your soup look really good. It is a little bit more expensive to probably like purchase these than making your own stock, especially if you have something like a turkey carcass. But in all the recipes that we're doing today, you can use whatever stock you have on hand. That is the key. Remember, my recipes are guidelines. You guys can vary in them however you want to do it, okay? All right, so of course, you have all the other basic elements for soup making. You gotta have a good pot. I like to have another pan as well for sauteing the vegetables. A lot of times I'll get the stock going in the pot itself, and I'll saute the vegetables on the side and kind of deglaze them in. Of course, we need like salt and pepper and just some of the basics that your kitchen's gonna need. Now, whether you're sauteing in olive oil or vegetable oil or butter, that's all up to you. So, if you want to know more about stocks, like I said, look online, check it out. I have some other videos out there and stuff that you guys can check out on stock making. But outside of that, I'm ready to start making some soups. So now we're going to make the French onion soup. Once again, my wife's favorite. I just got married in December, and so we're really excited. And she's going to have this for the first time today. She's actually in studio. She's going to come up here and help me taste this in a little bit. But I already started caramelizing some onions. They take a while, so I went ahead and caramelized them. But I'm going to get some started in the pan over here so you guys can see. What I want is, I don't want a nonstick pan. I want something that's regular, that's stainless steel, and I want it really hot. Hopefully when the oil hits the pan, it starts smoking. I want it to start smoking. I want quite a bit. And it's gonna come up and it's really hot. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the onions into here. Now, I julienne these onions. I cut either end off and then I cut them in half lengthwise. I peeled the skin off and then I cut them from stem to root. So I chopped them across that way. And what you want to do is you want to get them into that really hot pan. You want the oil to come to the smoke point. You want to immediately season them with salt and pepper. You want to season as you go. And so you kind of layer those flavors over and over. And then we'll get in here and we'll give them a stir. And they're already starting to brown. How this will work is I'll start with really high heat. Really the oil right at the smoke point. I get the onions in, I let them go for a bit, and then after they've started to caramelize, I slowly start to turn the flame down. They will burn if you just leave them at that really high flame. But if you start at a low flame and you just do them over a long period, what happens is the onion starts to cook and it almost ends up getting mushy in the soup. So there's no bite to it anymore. And so I want it to like hit it hard, hit it fast, bring out the color, bring out the sweetness in the onion, and then I'll slow it down and I'll get it to this color. This is the color that we're going for. And so it's this nice kind of almost sherry color, really caramely. They're real sweet. This would be great on top of a steak or on a burger or anything like that. It'd be absolutely delicious. And it's gonna be great in our soup. If you can see into this pot, I'll kind of lift it up here and let the camera see it for a minute. That right there is about 8 onions. So total, I'll have 10, including these ones. About medium size. These are the brown skin onions. So I'll give them a flip. And you can see how they're starting to caramelize. So we'll just let those keep going. And we'll see how they look by the time we get this soup done. I'm gonna get a high flame back underneath these onions here. I'm gonna bring them back up to temperature, okay? And while that's going, the thing that makes French onion soup so nice is you put it in a crock or some sort of mug or something like that, put a crouton on top, and you put a piece of Swiss cheese over it. It's almost always Swiss cheese. Like the different types of cheeses, like you could use a big-eyed Swiss, which is the big holes. You could use some sort of like Gruyere, which is another type of Swiss, or baby Swiss, or Emmentaler, or something like that. It's up to you, whatever you prefer. Now, as far as the croutons go, I have those here. And this is sourdough bread, which I olive oiled on either side, and I put underneath the broiler. I have my broiler on my oven already, and so we can get that nice bubbly cheese over the top. So these are ready to go. The main thing with these croutons is you want them the same size of your mug. Now, a lot of people use soup crocks. So the problem for me with soup crocks is that the mouth on them is like this big. And what I hate when I do French onion soups is if the crouton sucks up all of the juice and it falls down in there and then the cheese falls in. You don't get a nice presentation. So I want some sort of cup that has a more narrower top on it. So then my crouton fits perfectly on top of the mug itself, okay? So that's ready to go. These are the mugs I'm going to be using. I'll bring those over. Bring over a couple of my croutons so they're ready to go. Now, my onions are back up to temperature. And so one of the other elements that are in here, I've seasoned this as we've gone. Let's check our other onions. You can see they're starting to caramelize even more. And after every time I stir the onions, I want to spread them out to cover the whole base of the pan. Now, if you're doing French onion soup, say for one person or two people, and you're only gonna use like, say 2 onions, then I wanna use a much smaller pan. I want the pan to fit the amount of onions that I have. And so that's really important, because if I have a big space in my pan like this, all the edges around there are gonna burn on those onions itself. So that's why after every time I stir them, I spread them back out. Now, the thing that I'm gonna add to my French onion soup is I'm gonna add some thyme. And I just pull it right off the branches. I try not to get any of the woody stems in there. And I just put nice kind of whole pieces in. Now, I'm not worried about like chopping it all up. So not too much, or else it'll just taste like thyme. You'll get away from that onion flavor. Now next, I'm gonna add sherry. It's not a cream sherry. You could use a dried sherry. These are the ones that just say sherry, so they're like in between sweet and dry. I'm gonna add some sherry to it. This isn't real flammable. You're not worried about it like, catching fire, even though it can. But, the sherry is a fortified wine, but it's not like adding Jack Daniels or tequila or something like that. So we're gonna get in here and we're deglazing the pan. We're getting up all those nice brown bits that have been left over from the onions. We're giving it a good stir. And the smell in here is just amazing. It smells great. So, got that going. Gonna keep looking at these. And we're doing these a little bit faster. The second batch of onions, we're doing them a little bit faster than I'd actually like to be doing them. But I want you guys to see the transformation that they go through. So I'm keeping real attentive with them. And I might end up burning just a little bit, but that's mostly because of the high heat I got them on. At this point, I would turn them down. But since I'm kind of going fast, I'm going to add a little touch more oil. And I'm going to let them keep going. This is olive oil. It's extra virgin olive oil that I'm using. All right. Now my sherry has reduced a little bit. And there's still quite a bit of liquid in the pan as far as that sherry goes. The onions are nice and moist, good and caramelized. Let me show you that color again. It's absolutely beautiful. Now we're gonna add our beef stock. So French onion soup, it's always beef stock. You could use chicken, you could use turkey, don't forget. You could also make this all vegetarian. You could use vegetable stock as well. So we'll bring this over. And this is 3 boxes of the Kitchen Basics. That's this one right here. So this is the beef stock. Gonna give this a nice stir. All right, we're gonna bring that to a boil. Keep going on these onions here. They're getting really close. All right, French onion soup time. Let's go ahead and get this bowled up and get it into the broiler. So, and I like to broil it. A couple people have asked me, should I use a torch on it or something like that? Really, the broiler is the very best way. So I have an oven down underneath here by my knees. Well, let's take a look at our soup. Nice and boiling. Look, the onions have all come up. It's ready to go. Obviously, one of the last things I want to do before I start plating is I want to check it for salt and pepper. So, just going to get in here and remember, I added salt and pepper to the onions and stuff like that, so I'm suspecting that it's going to be fine. It's delicious. It does need some salt and pepper, though. So, a little bit of salt. I'm using kosher salt, using fresh cracked pepper. You can see how it came up a little bit more that I added that. Give that a good stir. And we'll go ahead and we'll shut it off. This isn't a soup that I just want to keep cooking and cooking because those onions and the stock and everything's done its job already. I don't want to overcook the onions to where they're just falling apart. So now I'm just going to take one of my soup mugs, make sure I get quite a bit of onions. And if it gets a little messy, that's why I'm doing it over the pot. I can always kind of clean it up. Make sure I get quite a bit of onions, like so. That all in there. And I go like almost right to the top. Set that onto my sheet pan. The next one here. That one's a lot of onions right off the bat. So now I want broth. The reason why I want it right to the top is because there again, I don't want that crouton like falling down into the soup. So we have them like so. Take our croutons and we're going to set those right on top. Hopefully they kind of hold right to the top there. Sort of grab the edges, you can see that. Then I'm going to take my cheese right on. And doing 2 slices on each, but I might go ahead and go big since I have it and go 3. More cheese, the better. Now I'm going to take this, and since this has been on the stovetop, my sheet pan's a little warm, I'm going to go down into the broiler. Now, we'll give that a few minutes, and those should come out. That's roughly going to take, less than 5 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes or so. And so I'll just, we had some kind of questions come up. One of the camera guys asked me, how much water do I add to my bones when making stock? Well, when you're making your stock, first thing that you want to do, like if you're doing beef stock, or if you want like a nice dark color on your stock, is roast your bones first. Even if it's chicken bones, go ahead and roast your bones. Like if I'm buying chicken bones at the store and that's all I'm buying, a lot of times I just do legs and thighs. And they're cheap, or I'll do just the drumettes or something like that. So I'll take those and I'll roast those. I roast them until they're nice and golden brown, nice high heat. Once they're all browned and everything, like they look like they're ready to eat, then I go ahead and I throw them all in a pot. I want to use a pot to where the bones come up and I still have a good, I don't know, say 4 or 5 inches to the very top of the pot itself. And so then I add my mirepoix, so carrot, celery, and onion. Say to every 5 pounds of bones, I want to add like 3 carrots, 3 stalks of celery, and like 2 onions. In mirepoix, always more onions than carrots and celery. So it's carrots and celery, double the onions. Then I'm going to add some thyme. It could be fresh or dried. I'm going to add some peppercorns. I'm going to add like 1 bunch of parsley and then some bay leaves. If I want wine in it, which I can do, I want probably like a cup or 2 of, if it's beef bones or veal bones, I want red wine. If it's chicken or fish stock or vegetable stock, I probably want white wine. The 2 wines that I use is, for white, a Sauvignon Blanc. For red, a Cabernet Sauvignon. And so those are the 2. And then I add the water. Now, I want to bring up the water enough to where the bones just start to move. They just start to float. I don't want a whole bunch of water more than the bones, and I don't want the bones sticking out of the top. So right when it comes to the top, I'll stop. Then I get that on the stovetop. Now, in professional kitchens, they tell you to cook the stock with no lid on it. In small kitchens and small batches, I always cook with the lid on. I can cook for a longer period of time without, getting a ton of evaporation. And then I can also turn my flame down and keep it kind of at at a steady simmer. Let's take a look at our French onion soup. We're getting there, a little bit longer. All the cheese is running down the side of the cup. It's starting to bubble, it's starting to brown. It's gonna be beautiful. All right, so back to stocks. On the stocks itself, how long do I wanna cook them? Vegetable, right about like an hour or 2 hours. Fish, I wanna cook it right at like an hour, no longer. 45 minutes to an hour. If I cook fish stock any longer than that, it's gonna start getting a heavy, strong, fishy flavor. Then chicken, 4 hours. Also, like shellfish, if I'm using shrimp shells or say lobster shells or king crab shells, I can also cook that for 4 hours. So chicken and shellfish, 4 hours. Fish, 1 hour. Vegetable, 1 hour. Beef or veal, you want to cook for 8 hours. Okay, so those are your lengths of cooking time. If you don't cook like a beef stock for 8 hours, you're not going to pull everything that those bones have to give out of there. All right, let's take a look. I'm sure those are ready to come out. It's really hot. My broiler's at like 500 degrees. And out come my soups. Look beautiful. I could brown them just a little bit more on top, but I think they look gorgeous. They're ready to go. Let's go ahead and get them off of this sheet pan. See how beautiful those look. You make this for a loved one, they're going to love you forever, let me tell you. So let me get rid of the sheet pan. And we're going to go ahead and give this a taste. I'm going to bring up my beautiful wife, Tara Sevely, and she's going to taste these with me. Now remember, sweetie, they're really, really hot.
Okay. Let's see.
So
It's boiling hot.
it looks boiling hot. All right, so let me see if I can get
First time tasting your French onion.
It is the first time she's tasting my French onion. I'm going to get in here. It's spilled everywhere. That's awesome. Helps to have a plate underneath it.
Oh, are you going to burn me?
It's a lot of cheese.
I love cheese. It's good. Yummy. Okay.
Is it good?
Delicious.
I'm going to taste it too.
You're fighting with that.
It's delicious. Love it.
Very good.
So today we did a classical French onion soup. Obviously my wife's favorite, with the crouton and the bubbly cheese over the top. Just absolutely delicious. Thanks for joining us today on Flavor of Riverside. My name's Chef Robert Sevely. Keep cooking.